Jones in the slow tones of his peculiar excitement. "Bless you, yes. I talked with him." "What was he like?" "He was a stupid old German. I always thought he was a sort of natural." "Yes?" Average Jones peered out of the window. "Is this the man coming up the street?" "It surely is," said the old lady. "Now, Mr. Jones, if he commences his blaring and blatting and—" "There'll be no more music, ma'am," promised the young man, laughing, as she went out to answer the doorbell. The musician, ushered in, looked about him, an expression of bewildered and childish surprise on his rabbit-like face. "I am Schlichting," he murmured. "I come to play the B-flat trombone." "Glad to see you, Mr. Schlichting," said Average Jones, leading the way upstairs. "Sit down." The visitor put his trombone down and shook his head with conviction. "It is the same room, yes," he observed, "but it is not the same gent, no." "You expected to find Mr. Ransom here?" "I don't know Mr. Ransom. I know only to play the B-flat trombone." "Mr. Ransom, the gentleman who employed you to play in the street in Brooklyn." Mr. Schlichting made large and expansive gestures. "It is a pleasure to play for such a gent," he said warmly. $2 a day." "You have played often in Kennard Street?" "I don't know Kennard Street. I know only to play the B-flat trombone." "Kennard Street, in Brooklyn, where the fat gentleman told you to stop and fell out of the window." A look of fear overspread the worn and innocent face. "I don't go there no more. The police, they take there." "But you had gone there before?" "Not to play, no." "Not to play? Are you sure?" The German considered painfully. "There was no feet in the window," he explained, brightening. Upon that surprising phrase Average Jones pondered. "You were not to play unless there were feet in the window?" he said at length. "Was that it?" The musician assented. "It does look like a signal to show that Linder was in," mused the interrogator. "Do you know Linder?" "I don't know nothing, only to play the B-flat trombone," repeated the other patiently. "Now, Schlichting," said Average Jones, "here is $1. Every evening you must come here. Whether I am here or not, there will be $1 for you. Do you understand?" By way of answer, the German reached down and lifted his instrument to his lips. "No, not that," forbade Average Jones. "Put it down." "Not to play my B-flat trombone?" asked the other, innocently hurt. "The other gent, he make play here always." "Did he?" drawled Average Jones. "And he listened?" "He listened from out there." The musician pointed to the other room. "How long?" "Different times," was the reply. "But he was always in the other room?" "Always. And I play Egypt, like this." "No," said Average Jones as the other stretched out a hopeful hand. "He liked it, Egypt," said the German wistfully. "He said, 'Bravo, encore, bis.' Sometimes 9, sometimes 10 times I play it, the chorus." "And then he sent you home?" "Then sometimes something goes sping like that in the back room. Then he comes out and I may go home." "Hum," muttered Average Jones discontentedly. "When did you begin to play in the street?" "After a long time. He take me away to Brooklyn and tell me, 'When you see the feet is in the window, you play hard.'" There was a long pause. Then Average Jones asked casually, "Did you ever notice a big easy chair here?" "I do not notice nothing. I play my B-flat trombone." And there his limitations were established. But the old lady had something to add. "It's all true that he said," she confirmed. "I could hear his racket in the front room and Mr. Ransom working in the back, and then, after the old man was gone, Mr. Ransom sweeping up something by himself." "Sweeping? What was he sweeping?" "Glass, I think. The girl used to find little slivers of it, first in one part of the room, then in another. I raised the rent for that and for the racket." "The next thing," said Average Jones, "is to find out where that big easy chair went from here. Can you help me there?" The old lady shook her head. "All I can do is tell you the nearby truckmen." Canvas of the local trucking industry brought to light the conveyor of that elegant article of furniture. It had gone, Average Jones learned, not to the mansion of the Honorable William Linder, as he had fondly hoped, but to an obscure address not far from the Navy Yard in Brooklyn. To this address, having looked up and gathered in the B-flat trombonist, Average Jones led the way. The pair lurked in the neighborhood of the ramshackle house, watching the entrance, until toward evening, as the door opened to let out a tremulous wreck of a man, palsied with debauch. Schlichting observed, "That is him. He has been drinking once again." Average Jones hurried the musician around the corner into concealment. "You have been here before to meet Mr. Ransom?" "No." "Where did he meet you to pay you your wages?" "On some corner," said the other vaguely. "Then he took you to the big house and left you there?" urged Jones. "No, he left me on the street corner. 'When the feet is in the window,' he says, 'you play.'" "It comes to this," drawled Average Jones intently, looking the employee between his vacuous eyes. Ransom shipped the chair to Plymouth Street, and from there to Linder's house. He figured that Linder would put it in his study and do his sitting at the window in it. And you were to know when he was there by seeing his feet in the window, and give the signal when you saw him. It must have been a signal to somebody pretty far off, or he wouldn't have chosen so loud an instrument as a B-flat trombone. "I can play the B-flat trombone louder as any man in the business," asserted Schlichting with proud conviction. "But what gets me," pursued Average Jones, "is the purpose of the signal. Whom was it for?" "I don't know nothing," said the other complacently. "I only know how to play the B-flat trombone louder as any man in the world." Average Jones paid him a lump sum, dismissed him, and returned to the Cosmic Club, there to ponder the problem. What next? To accuse Ransom, the mysterious hirer of a B-flat trombone virtuosity, without sufficient proof upon which to base even a claim of cross-examination, would be to block his own game then and there, for Ransom could, and very likely would, go away, leaving no trace. Who was Ransom, anyway, and what relation, if any, did he bear to Linder? Absorbed in these considerations, he failed to notice that the club was filling up beyond its wont. A hand fell on his shoulder. "Hello, Average. Haven't seen you at a Saturday special night since you started your hobby." It was Bertram. "What's on?" Average Jones asked him, shaking hands. "Freak concert. Bellerding has trotted out part of his collection of medieval musical instruments, and some professionals are going to play them. Waldemar is at our table. Come and join us." Conversation at the round table was general and lively that evening, and not until the port came on, the prideful club port served only on special occasions and in wonderful delicate glasses, did Average Jones get an opportunity to speak to Waldemar aside. "I've been looking into that Linder matter a little." "Indeed? I've about given up hope." "You spoke of an old scandal in Linder's career. What was the husband's name?" "Arbuthnot, I believe." "Do you know what sort of looking man he was?" "No. I could find out from Washington." "What was his business?" "Government employment, I think." "In the scientific line, perhaps?" drawled Jones. "Why, yes, I believe it was." Suppose, now, Linder should drop out of the combination. Who would be the most likely nominee?" "Marsden, the man I've been grooming for the place. A first-class, honorable, fearless man." "Well, it's only a chance, but if I can get one dark point cleared up." He paused as a curious, tingling note came from the platform where the musicians were tuning tip. "One of Bellerding's sweet dulcets," observed Bertram. The performer nearest them was running a slow bass scale on a sort of two-stringed horse fiddle of a strange shape. Average Jones' still untouched glass, almost full of the precious port, trembled and sang a little tentative response. Up, up, up mounted the thrilling notes in crescendo force. "What a racking sort of tone, for all its sweetness," said Average Jones. His delicate and fragile port glass evidently shared the opinion,